So my name is Rhonda, and I am a spiritual medium. So most people call me Spiritual Medium Rhonda. And I made this workshop based on what Spirit gives me. So it's the same workshop every time, but it's not the same workshop every time because I let it be Spirit directed, if that makes sense to you. So, had anybody told me that I was going to be a psychic medium, I would have laughed at them and run out of the room probably, because I am not what I thought a psychic medium would be. I didn't even think I was a psychic or a medium. I just thought I missed my dad. My father passed away in 2009. And hey, just so y'all know, don't be stealing my Dollar Tree pen. I know it's cute, but don't you take it. Because it takes, it's hard to find those now at Dollar Tree. They're very cute though. But my father passed away in 2009, and he passed away of lung cancer. And I've always been a kid who was interested in, see, back then they called it the occult, right? It is now New Age. But I'd always been interested in palmistry and astrology and all of that other stuff. And my grandfather, who was a 33rd degree Mason, had this, they converted the garage into a library. And he had books on every religion. He had books on everything mystical. And I was fascinated by his stuff, right? Which kind of got me into it. Well, my father passed away in 2009 of lung cancer, and I missed him. Oh my gosh, I missed him so much. I went to bed for, I think, 48 hours. And the only way that I made it to the funeral was Valium. Like, really. My father was my biggest cheerleader, right? He was the one who kept me going. And anytime I had a problem, I could talk to my dad. I was known as handy dandy daughter because my dad taught me things like how to do stuff with, hardware and stuff like that. So it seemed natural to want to find out if he was okay, right? And so I started taking classes, and I had always been able to do certain things. Like I could always tell who came home with just by hearing their keys, the jingle of their keys, I knew who it was. And just little strange things, like I had heard somebody call my name, and my mother was never, don't answer what, you come see what I want. So I went to the steps to see what she wanted, and I saw a little girl walk around the corner. And when I went downstairs, everybody was asleep, which I thought was kind of odd. But I didn't think anything of it. Fast forward, and I am taking classes, and I've always had music in my head. I feel like I am a sitcom in my own head because I'm always playing music in my head. For example, Pink Pony Club, that song, I'm telling you, I woke up this morning with it in my head and I could not and cannot get it out. And I haven't figured out why the song is relevant. And I have a feeling that it is because it just makes me happy. How can you not be happy with Pink Pony Club, right? Everybody wants a pony when they're a kid, first of all. And to have a pink pony, oh my gosh, that would have been the deal. Anyway, so I've always kind of done things with songs, and it just seemed natural. Because he's recording, my brain is like, what is going on? So I started hanging out at this place called The Wonder of You, and they had classes. And then I started hanging out at the Memorial Spiritualist Church. And then I found a mentor. And so I started taking classes on anything that I could, whether it was Reiki, automatic writing, psychic, mediumship. I just took classes, intuitive art. I just took classes because I just wanted to know. I was also having issues of what they used to call the witches riding you. And I don't know if any of you all know what that is, but the old people called it the witches riding you. And what that looks like is when you're in bed, you cannot move. You can't move anything on your body at all. You can't speak, you can't, like nothing. And it terrified me. Like terrified me. And I would sleep like this so that I could touch myself because they used to say if somebody touches you, it'll bring you out of it. So I used to sleep like this to try to touch myself to bring myself out of it. But that's part of why I went into it, because I wanted to figure out what the heck is going on. Tell you something, I never really did figure out what it was until years later. And what that is you are astral projecting and you are leaving your body. But what's happening is when you come in, your body hasn't figured out you're back. So it's still like, okay, she's gone. And you have to wait for that, for them to catch up, right? So, how many of you all know what the clairs are?
What is it?
The clairs. Like an eclair, but you don't eat it.
Really?
Okay. So you have clairsentient. That is my gift. That is it's called clear feeling. Like you feel things. I could walk into a room and whoever was having a horrible day, I found them. And I took on their feeling, right? I went to a garage to get my car fixed one day, and I had a dog. It was a big Labrador retriever, golden drooly Labrador retriever. And nobody was in there, but the dog walked up to me and did this. So I'm like, okay, let me pet. Hello, boo boo, right? So I'm petting the dog, and I did what I needed to do. I asked the guy something, and I left. And I get in the car, and I'm driving. What are you doing? Get in your life, And all of a sudden, I have this road rage, and I'm like, what in the world happened? Why am I road raging? And I mean, I was road raging. And I'm like, I didn't talk to anybody really. I talked to the man at the garage and the dog, and that was it. And then I saw in my head the dog lean back on me, and I'm like, son of a gun. The dog gave me his entities.
Oh no.
He didn't know what to do with them. He saw me. Dogs are very smart. I don't care what anybody says, they're smarter than cats. But dogs are very smart, right? He knew I would take them for him. So he just leaned up on me and gave them to me. Me not knowing, being innocent, I took them on. I didn't know what I was doing, but all of a sudden I was angry. And I just wanted to, I was angry. It came from the dog. That's clear sentient. You feel it. I used to cry at Hallmark commercials. My mother would say, you're so sensitive. I can't help it, Mom. I can't help it. The poor poor dog, and the mama came home. Just crying. That's clairsentient. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. You see things in your mind's eye. Everybody close your eyes. Take a deep breath and blow it out. Now, in your head, I want you to say your name. And I want you to feel, sense, touch, taste, whatever. Where do you feel it, hear it, see it, or sense it? Your name. Open your eyes. Where do you see it? Where do you sense it?
See it in my mind's eye.
You see it in your... You see it in your third eye. Do you see it or do you hear it for both of you?
I see the letters.
You see the letters. And do they write out like a movie?
Yeah.
I see it, no, I don't see it, I feel it and I hear it.
I used to have a coworker that she could see people's, like people were colors. Not their auras. But their colors, they were colors. And then I had a student who said that letters were colors and days of the week were specific colors. So she knew if it was going to be a good day or a bad day by the color of the day, which I thought was fascinating. So the fact that you taste it, I think is amazing. But wherever you hear or sense or feel your name, that is you. That is your mind. Anything else is usually spirit.
What happens if you're blank?
So sometimes you have to just practice. And you also have to close your eyes. No shade there, though. For a second. Just a second. You got to close them a little longer than a second. But no, if you really close your eyes and just kind of keep, okay, I'm saying my name, I'll say it out loud like I'm saying it in my head. Rhonda, 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 Rhonda. I feel it, hear it, see it in the middle of my head. It's not like in the front, it's not on the side, it's dead center. When spirit talks to me, I hear it on the right side, but it is not outside of my head, which would be subjective. It is inside. It feels like it is outside. Because I always thought that when God started talking to me, he would be like, Rhonda, this is God. I have a mission for you. I'm not going to part the Red Sea, but it'll be just as spectacular. That's what I thought was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be any other way. So here comes the coincidence. It's like, did I really hear that, or was I just imagining it? How many times have you said that? I know. Think about where it's coming from and where you're hearing it. Because if it's not what you heard when you said your name, it's not you. It's spirit. Like I hear spirit come in this way. But that's not the only way I hear him. Now you would think that me being a visual artist, that I would be all about the visual. I could see, I would be clairvoyant. Yeah, no, not at all. I'm sorry, clairaudient is auditory. Clairvoyant is seeing. So I had to develop my clear seeing. Close your eyes. Can you see, sense, or feel your front door? Raise your hand. your front door of your house. Okay. Now, I want you to see, sense, feel, or taste your closet. Can you see it? Ladies and gentlemen, you have just done clairvoyancy. That's all it is. That's it. That's it. You can open your eyes. Sorry. That's all it is. It's like in your mind's eye. How you see your front door, how you see your closet, it's all the same. I just trust that what I'm getting is spirit. That really is all it is. Now, sometimes when I'm in the middle of a reading or I'm talking to somebody, I will literally do this so that you all can see me. I will literally do this. And people will look like, what are you looking at? Right? But I'm doing that because I am literally looking up to see what I can see. Let me tell you, look, that light just went off. So that reminds me of a really cool story. So I was doing one of these pathways, right? And it was in summer and it was hot. And we were talking and I was talking about energy and I was like, I can jack up a phone and blah, 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 blah. And I swear to you, the lights went out. And everybody just looked at me and I was like, I told you. And then I was saying something else and it was very pertinent. The light, it was like, and the lights came back on. I was like, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. It was a good laugh. So when things do that, it reminds me of that. So clairgustient, I think it is clear taste. That usually comes with something else. It is very hard to give a 15, 20-hour reading with nothing but taste. That's very hard. However, my tasting comes in if I taste something. I had someone who crossed over and they had died of an overdose. And they brought, it was a weird taste. It wasn't metallic, but it was a very weird taste in my mouth. And I kept asking the lady, I was like, I got this weird taste in my mouth. Like, I'm like, I can't explain it, but she was like, he died of an overdose. And I was like, oh, so that's what an overdose, that's my signal for overdose. And I have never forgotten it. Right? Clairsentient, for me, if someone dies of a blood disorder, cancer, leukemia, I feel it, my blood feels effervescent, like an Alka-Seltzer. And I can feel it all through my body like an Alka-Seltzer. An aneurysm or a stroke, I feel it in my head. Like I get a huge pain in my head. Like I feel how they die. So heart attack really freaked me out first time because I could feel like I was having a heart attack and I was like, y'all have to back off. I can't handle that. So they've learned to back off. That's clairsentient, right? Then you have clear smelling. Don't know what that, clear aroma. Some people call it clear aroma, some people call it something else. Like when you smell your grandma's perfume, right? Or you smell cut grass or something else. That's clairsentient. And sometimes you'll get that with something else. The other way to get messages, and by the way, I trained on that for years. By the way, psychic medium is like saying, Chihuahua German Shepherd. Do you understand that? They're the same. They're both dogs. A psychic medium is the same. Psychics are not always mediums. So in other words, they can't always talk to dead people. But a medium is always psychic. So, ergo, Chihuahua German Shepherd. Does that make sense? They're literally the same. So I hate calling myself a psychic medium because I am, yeah. But what happens is the public doesn't understand what a medium is. So we have to say we're psychic mediums so that you all understand that we can connect with you and we can connect with spirit. Okay? Now, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in here. I am a intuitive, psychic, medium artist, spiritual artist. Now, what does that mean? Spiritualist that means that spirit is in absolutely everything I do. Absolutely everything I do. I used to have a friend that would go, well, I believe that if the light turns red, it's because Spirit said turn the light red. And I used to look at him like, are you cray? Dude, no. Sign. I am now that cray because I know everything happens for a reason. So I'm in my backyard. This is after my dad has passed, and I'm having a pretty good day. And I look out into the back of my dream house, and I see something moving in the grass, and I'm thinking, oh crap, it's a snake. I hate snakes, by the way. And then I realize it's not a snake. It's a turtle. And I am so excited because I'm watching this turtle from the inside AC, of course, not outside. And then I'm doing something, I'm playing with my dog, and I look back, and then there's this rabbit that is sitting next to the turtle. And I'm like, oh, cool. Nobody is ever gonna believe me. I'm gonna take a picture of it. So I take a picture of it. It was on the flip phone, so it's not a good picture at all. But I take a picture of it, and I'm like, that's so cool. That's so cool. And I hear, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, mind you, I'm an idiot because I don't get it.
I do.
Well, show off. Show off.
I remember that story. The tortoise and the hare.
Well, I wish you had been at the house that day because you could have saved me 3 weeks. Because literally, I'm telling somebody about that and they go, oh, that's cool. It's a tortoise. And I went, oh, shit. The tortoise and the hare. Oh. Again, wish you had been at the house with me because you could have saved me a whole lot of time. Sometimes we get psychic brain and we just poof, forget. So I told you my father passed away. But what I have not told you yet is my father brings me balloons. Mylar balloons. I have had balloons in trees. I have had balloons on telephone poles. I have had a balloon in the middle of a nor'easter on the Chesapeake Bay up against a railing, not tied to it, in like 80-degree weather, just doing this. And I opened the door, because I was taking the dog out, who did not want to go, by the way. But I was taking the dog out, and I'm like, who tied a balloon up there? And I pick it up, and the string is not attached to anything. It is a green mylar frog with an I love you on it. I'm like, oh, there's a green. I was like, Ma, look. And she was like, oh, that must be from your dad. And I'm like, oh, I know, it probably is, right? Like, and I took pictures of it, because I'm like, nobody's ever gonna believe me. And then I open up the door up at the top deck, and I open it up, and we have this little corner, and so it does this, and then it flies away, and it's gone. Just gone. My grandmother dies the same day Michael Jackson died, by the way. She died. She was 101, but she passed away, so we go to the funeral, and we're at her house. We are the only ones there, and let me just say, she did die in the house, and yes, I was a little freaked out, but my mother was like, we're not going to a hotel, so get over it. And I'm like, okay. So I sat down on the couch, and my grandmother has this chair up near the TV, which I never understood why it was right there by the TV. But anyway, she has this chair, and it sits about this far off the ground. And I keep seeing something in my peripheral vision, and I'm thinking, what is that? And I keep looking, and finally I'm like, I'm just gonna go find out what it is. Now, what you also don't know is it was my birthday. Yeah, I was at my grandmother's house to go to her funeral on my birthday, because she died the 25th. This is the 30th. So I reach under the couch, the chair, and I pull out this little round mylar balloon that says, happy birthday, because it's my birthday. And I'm like, Dad sent me a balloon for my birthday. And I make my mother take pictures, and I'm holding the balloon, right? I still have them in my phone if anybody would like to see them later. And I'm still holding them. But so I started taking pictures of balloons every time they would come, because they would always come when I was thinking about my dad. Every single time. When I tell you I have over 400, 500 pictures of balloons, because I kept taking pictures, because I kept saying, nobody's ever gonna believe this. Nobody's ever gonna believe me. I have had balloons in Dollar Tree, literally where there was no one in an aisle, come from the ceiling down, and it was a red, white, and blue star, Mylar, and follow me. And so I'm videoing going, nobody's ever gonna believe me that it's following me and I have this balloon, right? My dad was military, that's the star reference, right? I've had balloons come up the street, in the middle of the street on its own, and turn into my driveway. I've come home to balloons sitting on my porch. Not regular balloons, always Mylar.
What's mylar?
It's the silvery stuff. It's the silvery ones. The latex ones like to chase my car. Like they like to run along the side with my car. That's usually when I see those. Or I'll see somebody will have a bunch of them, a bouquet of them in their car, and they'll drive past me, and I'll be like, really? Really, Dad? Really? Thanks. But they're always at good times. One more story about my dad, and then I'm going to ask you all some questions. So my pipes busted, and so I had to have them repiped, my whole house repiped. So I called in the people that my dad had suggested, and they literally charged me $8,000 to repipe my house, where they didn't take out all of the pipes. They only took out the ones you could see where the holes were. My dad used to do that stuff for me. So I am crying, and I'm like, I wish my dad was here, because he would know how to do this. He would know how to deal with this. And I'm in Home Depot, and I'm talking to my friend, and I am crying because I am so upset. I don't have $8,000, first of all, and pipes should not cost that much. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, on the intercom, I'm hearing, regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. And now, I'm like, really? When my father retired from the military, they played his favorite song. Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way. I'm sorry, I still get chills on that. Yeah, that's my tell, by the way. When my hair stands on the end and I don't have a lot of hair, I know that's my tell. I've just spoken truth. But that was playing. And I'm like, really? And I knew in that moment it was going to be okay. It was going to be okay. So I marched back to the house, and I'm like, I just feel like you've taken advantage of me, and it's $8,000. Okay, Miss Rhodes, I'll give you half off. First of all, what that told me was you knew you were charging me, you were overcharging me. But secondly, what that said was, Daddy still got my back. How many times are you thinking of something and a song comes on the radio and you're like, what are the odds? That's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not a coincidence. Spirit will take whatever you know and show you that way. If it's animals, Spirit will use animals. Can't tell you about the bird. Little red robin literally dived in front of my car trying to commit suicide. And I'm like, okay, I see you. My birthday, the little bird on the corner in the top of the house just, and I'm just looking at this bird, and he's going up and going down and going up and going down and just squawking. And I'm like, okay, I see you. Hello, good morning. Bird stopped. Just needed to acknowledge, okay, I see you. If it's music, that's my gig. That's why they call me the music medium, because I will break out into song in a heartbeat, because I hear messages in song. Yeah, it's the easy way to get to people. Oh, and by the way, little FYI, I'm terrified of ghosts.
What? You're terrified really? Of ghosts?
Yes. Yeah, you think I'm kidding you? Why would I get...
You're an intuitive, psychic, medium artist who's terrified of ghosts.
It's not that funny.
I'm just
Like,
I'm following you. I find it fascinating. It's no shade.
Is that because they're earthbound spirits rather than somebody that crossed over that a loved one is trying to seek and hear them?
I don't know. I just know I'm scared of them. So my rule is, you can't come see me at night. Period. We're not talking. I will see you up until sunset. Then you're cut off. No, you can't come in. And I think that the reason that I am terrified is because when I was young, I've always been gifted. I remember going to a friend's house for a slumber party, and she lived across from a cemetery, and my mother had to come get me. And we hadn't gone out to the cemetery. So I have a feeling that they were trying to talk to me very young because they knew. And
You weren't gonna have any part of it.
It scared me. I was scared. Little kids are scared of the dark. And then you're going to throw somebody talking to you or appearing? No. No, not happening. So I have kind of carried it over. When I say, am I afraid of ghosts? I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm afraid of something appearing that I don't want to see. And I'll tell you something else. Being a psychic medium, if I am sitting with a client and I say, your mom's in spirit, and they're like, no, she's alive, I know that they have dementia or Alzheimer's. There is something cognitive going on where they are in both worlds. I know that.
I don't know what to do with them.
You don't need to know.
Okay.
Why do you need to know?
Because I'm curious.
Oh, that's a control thing.
Oh.
That's ego. No, really. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's ego. Because you don't need to know what it is, because when the time is right, Spirit will put it all out. I do soul portraits. I kept going, I know I'm supposed to be doing something. I know I'm supposed to be doing something. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And everybody kept saying, just sit and wait, sit and wait. And I'm like, I'm tired of sitting and waiting. But you know what? There's no time on the other side. There's only time on this side. So what happened was, in the dead of night, I was woken up out of a dead sleep. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. Now, the how you're going to do it didn't tell me step by step how to do it. I had to figure that out on my own. But I was told, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. So the fact that you are getting the words it's part of the puzzle. Take the part of the puzzle and know that at some point it will all make sense, or it won't. But I almost guarantee you it'll make sense. It's either a message or something that you need to know.
Yeah, I keep getting 111 or 323.
That 111 is literally spirit. 333 is literally spirit. So maybe that is, you need to stop being in control and let spirit.
Yes, I'm still working on it, but I got it 2 months ago. Yes.
That is the biggest thing. If you don't take anything away from this workshop, this is the one thing I want you to do. On your mirror, write the word TRUST, period. That's the biggest problem. The best mediums only have to be 80% correct to be a good medium. That means they only have to get a low B. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am in booth 78. I do spiritual soul portraits, which are like aura pictures on steroids. I also make fashionable aprons. These are fanny packs on steroids. I make card wraps, all kinds of things. Please stop by and see me. And my card, if you would like one, is up here. Examples of my soul portraits are here. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate you.